Hi, Dane. As Rebecca just mentioned, Dane is the founder and CEO of SayWhat. Hi, Dane. I guess not everyone here knows much about SayWhat. Tell us what it is.
Sure. Can everyone hear me? Sounds good. Okay. So SayWhat is a video version of Urban Dictionary. It's a mobile app that we have developed over iOS, Android. It's also on the web as well. So basically, it's people, teens, mostly teens, college students, explaining slang terms like bae. Anyone heard of bae? Or slay, or any kind of jargon, English, Chinese, and Spanish, and different kind of languages, and try to explain those in entertaining 10-second videos.
Interesting. When and how did you get the idea for it?
Okay, that's a bit of a story. Last summer, when I was looking for content for my video app, I was really desperate and I was trying to get people to make videos. So I just went around the entire New York City. I hit up hundreds of people. I pitched them all different kind of ideas. I was like, hey, do you guys want to make videos to help millions of billions of Chinese people to know how to say how to order food or something? Yeah. And nobody got really excited. And then I was like, hey, what about for billions of people who ever doesn't know English? And they're like, huh, okay. And then I iterated my pitch over and over, and then eventually I hit one thing. Whenever I say, hey, I'm making a video version of Urban Dictionary, all the teens scream, especially young girls. When they're in group, they're like, oh my God, I'm going to do this. Tell me what to do on camera. I'm on right now. I was like, great. So maybe I hit something like a spark. So from that point on, I realized if I wanted to get people to learn about something different, you need to kind of get their interest first, instead of telling them the benefit. I think now the young generation is very self-centric, so it's about getting them excited about things. So that's how I
want to make a video now.
Really? Okay, sure. I would love to see you on SayWhat.
And you graduated from Columbia, a top-notch American school, and you also joined the HSBC with a very bright career in finance, but you decided to be an entrepreneur instead of a banker. What motivated you, and do you think your banking background helps you?
Not really, but I grew up in China. I came to the States when I was 18, and my English was actually pretty good when I came here. But I realized I just couldn't communicate. It was very hard to make friends, very hard to fit in, because people here, you can't, Chinese textbook English doesn't really work very well here. So I think after I graduated from Columbia, I had opportunity to work in London first, and New York and Hong Kong. It was very it's a very lavish lifestyle, for a grad, because I got a maid who cleans up my apartment every day. It's ridiculous. But I think after a while, I felt like my objective in life is not to make really wealthy people 2% richer every year. So that wasn't something that motivated me. So I quit my job. I started my first company with my two other Google engineers. And then we got the first product out, and that's how I got started.
Just very curious, you mentioned English is not your first language.
No.
And you are speaking it perfectly.
Oh, thank you.
Do you have any personal tips of learning languages?
Tips?
Did you integrate your tips into SayWhat?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think the key is try to learn the right thing. I think a lot of the audience here probably came from China or some other countries. You probably spend a lot of time studying for GRE or something, right? The words that nobody ever uses. You spend all the time memorizing for 10 years, and in the end you don't use it. And the language is a tool for people to communicate and to socialize. And I think if you just nail a very small amount of vocabulary, maybe just 400 words, and people use something very simple like seriously, people really like to use this here. And then you can use that, you get the tone right, you can get friends very easily. And from friends, they can help you to enlarge your vocabulary and learn more and more things. And I think building the confidence to begin with is very important.
Yeah, you went to Stanford Incubator when you started, right? How was that experience?
It's great. I recommend it to anyone who is Stanford affiliated. So I don't know if anyone heard of the StartX program. So it started by it's a Stanford Incubator program, and it was very collaborative. It's amazingly collaborative. Everyone is very open to ideas, because in the Valley, people know if I just tell everyone the idea, it's not like anyone's going to copy my idea right away, because I believe no one can just take it away. And putting as much commitment as I do, and take it on. So I'm not afraid of telling anybody. And so in the Valley, like everyone having that attitude, so you kind of jump in and just start discussing with people about problems right away. Instead of like, I feel here in New York, maybe I haven't really gone into the community as much, but I feel like the culture is a little bit new, and people a little bit more protective of the ideas.
Sounds like you like Silicon Valley.
I do like it.
More. But you still pick New York as your base. And I heard a lot of people telling me that it's easier to raise fund in Silicon Valley. But why do you still think New York is a better place for you?
Yeah, great question. So like in the Valley, it was great, especially from the program. We knew a lot of like investors and mentors. I'm very appreciative of it. I think New York is better for content, especially for my kind of a startup. It was very, because I chose a place to live in West Village, and my team, we all just live and work there. And it was because it's very close to NYU. Kids in NYU are extremely excited about being on camera. So I walk around and I'm like, hey, what do you think of the app? What can I fix? What's wrong? And if I see their face confused, I know there's something wrong. I go back and fix it. Okay. But in the Valley, I don't drive. So like my teammates have to drive me everywhere, and it was just, and people are not as excited about content, so it's not as efficient for my particular kind of product. But it's great for other things.
Mm-hmm. How are you positioning your app, SayWhat? And you mentioned you went through a very difficult period before you found the right positioning for SayWhat. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Like about the difficult period or the?
Yeah, the difficult period.
Oh, okay.
And how you are positioning it now.
The difficult period was we raised money from a very famous Chinese angel. We wanted China at the time because I really wanted to help people to learn conversational English better. We thought our target audience was Chinese people. I went there and I realized like what our team came up with at the time wasn't really what deeply motivated me. So we did a lot of user research in China, and pretty much all Chinese users really wanted a thing called 美的生活指南, which means the Imperial America's living guide. Basically like teaching you how to order food, how can I order orange juice on an airplane, how can I get all that kind of stuff. And I just realized, like at the time I was struggling and the team is kind of falling apart because we were not focused and I couldn't really commit to it. And after the summer of like getting content from all the sort of people here in New York, I realized that positioning was wrong for me as a founder because it seems like we're just making a modernized version of like some video textbook. Whereas what I want to do is much more scalable. It's more sort of crowdsourcing based where everyone gets to participate, and it has a longer term impact. And it's more creative as well. It inspires people to do it the way they want it instead of like, hi, I would like to have a boss of water here. It's too rigid for me.
Exactly. So you started here, then you went back to China. So you know the environment here and in China. So ask you to compare two countries. What would you say about the startup environment?
Oh, startup environment. Very interesting.
Not pollution.
But here, like, you mean like New York or the Valley? Because it's quite different.
Yeah, I know. Like maybe New York, Valley, and maybe Beijing.
I think Beijing, like what Frank, I think summarized really well. The teams are extremely diligent. It's a little bit more top-down because when I was recruiting in Beijing, I realized I don't really work very well with Chinese employees because I like to inspire people. I like to work with people who are better than me, basically. Yeah. But I think the people I interviewed that come from great backgrounds, Tencent, Baidu, they like me to give them instructions, to give them a specific direction, do this, and then they're great at executing. So I think here, because we're making something much more innovative and nobody has ever done it before, I like to have teammates who came from very diverse background and inspire me to do something better than what I can personally do myself.
And you mentioned you started SayWhat with two as a co-founders.
Yes.
But now you're pretty much on your own as a leader. What happened to the other two co-founders? What kind of transition did you?
So startup is a tough ride. Everybody here who has started a company, you probably have gone through the the come and go kind of situation. I'm still very good friends with both of them. I really appreciated their input. One left because of a personal reason. He couldn't really commit to it longer. Another person we were dating before we started the company, and it didn't work out well. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be saying this right here. I said it anyways. But I think that was really the toughest time because they both left at the same time. And I'm left, I was the only non-technical co-founder. I was the youngest in the team. And I was prepared that everybody else in the team was going to leave. And I was debating whether I should try my best to convince everybody, be like, hey, it's going to be awesome. We're going to make this happen. But eventually, I just decided to let people make their own decisions. So I was very honest and tell them, hey, this is what happened. I'm the only person left. Do you want to do this or not? And amazingly, they did. And for some reason, we worked better than before, probably because now the decision-making process is much more easier. And I go with my gut. And the product is converging into the values that the people who left are sort of sticking with, which is learning and having fun at the same time.
After that experience, what do you think, what are the key things in terms of finding the right partners and building the right team?
Yes, I have a lot. I thought so much about it. So I think finding the right partners is always, it's kind of like getting married to somebody, but marrying like lots of people at the same time. Well, I'm not married, but like I would imagine that's how it works. So they're all very different, but you have to align on very core things. And if you don't, even though they could be great, brilliant, and smart, and very nice and kind people, the way you execute a thing will be different. With the same vision, like the same vision of video urban dictionary, everyone will do it differently depending on what you value. And the people who currently left, we value learning, constant learning, fragmented time, and fun. So I think it's,
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. Let's give Ding and Bianca a round of applause.